health insurance. Gang violence on the rampage. Young people are getting shot in the streets. Marriages after years are breaking up.
I say a little prayer for you.
How can we let children get shot down in school?
I gotta pray every day, y'all.
Children get
I gotta
gassed.
pray every day, y'all.
That's just not right.
I gotta pray every day.
We don't even uphold children no more.
I gotta pray every day, y'all.
Jesus, have mercy.
You need prayer.
God, we need you.
I need prayer. I gotta pray every day, Lord.
Jesus, have mercy.
I gotta pray every day, Lord. I gotta pray every day, y'all. Lord, help me on my way. Yeah. I say a little prayer for you. I say a little prayer for you. I say a little prayer. I say a little prayer for you. I gotta make it in this world today. I say a little prayer for you. Hey, people on the street got nowhere to sleep, got no food to eat. It's a bad situation. How can you shoot your brother from another mother? How can you say you love him when you don't love yourself? The world needs more peace. I gotta pray every day, y'all. I gotta pray every day, y'all. I gotta pray every day. I say a little prayer for you. I'm gonna say a little prayer for you. I say a little prayer for you. I'm gonna say a little prayer. Oh yeah. I say a little prayer for you. I'm gonna say a little prayer. I say a little prayer for you. Hey, so how can you hate my color? Hey, when we come from one prayer for you. Hey, I say a little prayer for you. I say a little prayer for you. How can you talk about me? I'm gonna say a little prayer for you. How can you look down on your brother? I say a little prayer for you. How can you walk past trouble? I say a little prayer for you. You need to help one another. I say a little prayer for you. We all trying to make it. I say a little prayer for you. I can't make it in this world if I don't say a little prayer for you. You need to pray for you.
I just don't understand what's going on
I say a little.
in this world
Say a
today.
little prayer for you.
How can we let millions of people lose their health
Say a little
insurance?
prayer for you.
Gang violence on the rampage. Young people
Say a
are getting
little
shot
prayer
in
for
the streets. Marriages after years are breaking
I
up.
say a little prayer for you.
How can we let children get shot down in school?
I
How
gotta
can we do
pray
this?
every day, y'all.
Children get
I gotta
gassed.
pray every day, y'all.
That's just not right.
I gotta pray every day.
We don't even uphold children no more.
I gotta pray every day. Hi. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for uh, tuning on or tuning into Rise with Lisette live talk show. But really, we thank you so much for being here today. God is so good. It's good to be here. We got such a special guest this morning. We have the one and the only Leslie E. Royal from out of Lithonia, Georgia. Okay. And I'm telling you, she's absolutely awesome. Go ahead on and tell your friends and your family to tune in today. Okay. Tune into the show. Share. Don't forget to do some live chatting because we're going to have a great conversation. And we want to make sure that we know what you have to say and ask some questions to Leslie. All right. And not only that, but how was your weekend? I hope y'all had a great weekend. I mean, I had a great weekend. I had a chance to do a concert at the in Wilson for the cystic fibrosis fundraiser there. So, and hats out to Sandra Holton for inviting me. And also, by the way, the song that you was listening to is called "Say a Little Prayer" that your girl Lisette wrote. And if you interested in that, just go on YouTube and put "Say a Little Prayer" by Lisette. You get a chance to hear some more of that. But today our discussion is going to be about. But by the way, Keone, how was your weekend? By the way,
I was gonna say we just go. You usually say, "Hey, Keone, how you doing?" I was like, "Oh, we skipping right to the discussion.
whatever,
Get little old
whatever,
me."
whatever, whatever. Okay, whatever, whatever, whatever. But
The,
anyway, yeah, I
it was
had to
a good
ask
weekend,
you.
long weekend. Insomnia's kicking my tail. So anybody out there with insomnia knows what I'm talking about, right? Uh,
Mhm.
but other than that, it's been a good weekend. I'm looking forward to this to be a good month because November is going to be an extremely busy month.
For
So
sure,
that can
because
be
you
good.
you have the
Sometimes that
graduation.
can be great.
You have the graduation for the model and talent management. You know, Avante, right? You know, you got the graduation going on, so that's going to be awesome. So, hey, we got a great show for you today, and don't forget,
Yes,
please
we
don't
do.
forget to do some live chat. And I know I said it before, but it makes the program and it makes the conversation really rich when you put in your comments and ask your questions. But I have met this wonderful lady. I think it was last year I met her, Leslie, and I'm telling you, I got a chance to go to her restaurant, her and her husband's restaurant, Roberts in Lithonia. And I'm telling you, you want some good old soul food. You know, I love the soul food, you know, and any place that sells fish, Kiana, you know I'm gonna be on it.
Now, see, you scared me because I don't know if Leslie's ever seen any of your dining stories that we
Oh,
do on here. Matter of fact, we might do one today since she's here. Um, but if the food is banging and the service is great, I know your stories ain't coming from that restaurant. But soul food restaurants are extremely hard to find if you live in certain places. And then in some places you live, like I live here, there's a couple soul food restaurants. One of them's another one's okay, and then one of them's really, really good. So when you can find one that's great, that always makes it better.
that's what I'm talking about. This at Roberts, you can get some neck bones, some
Uh oh.
lima beans.
Uh oh.
They sell collards and cabbage and all that stuff. I'm telling you, and more important to me, they actually fry trout. Oh God, they got some trout there. I love myself some trout. That's what you talk about, some eating right there.
You're gonna make me get in my car. You're not
I'm
gonna have a
trying to
show.
tell you, you need to slide on the Roberts. You know, Lithonia. I'm telling you, Georgia. It is absolutely awesome. By the way, my daughter goes there. Her name is Lachey, and she lives in Lithonia, and she goes there all the time to your place. I mean, those net. She gets mad when all the net bones has ran. She said, "Mama, where the net bones? I can't believe they ran out of net bones." She'd be so upset. And I said, and then she loves to, let's see, she loves to get the whiting fish, you know, so she loves that. But yes, but hey, we're gonna get on to the conversation today because we don't want to just leave y'all out of the conversation. We're gonna go ahead on and bring in this wonderful, wonderful lady. Her name is Leslie E. Royal, and she is a global freelance journalist. All right. She's absolutely amazing. And you can go ahead on and read some more stuff in her bio up here. But she's she has Oh. You ever do that sometimes? You ever get stuck between? You get stuck. You saying like,
I
ding dong.
I didn't know if you were having. I was like, is she doing like that news lady where she had a stroke or she got stuck? And yours, Clarence, he wasn't able to come up and smack you in the back to unstick you.
Look, I'm just a robot, you know, a little robot. No, but she has a wonderful video series called Onward and Upward with Leslie E. Royal, sponsored by Astro. Okay, I'm telling you. And by the way, when she comes on, she's an Astro ambassador, and she's gonna be wearing one of their outfits from Astro. Okay, I'm telling you, that's some beautiful fashions in there. I get their magazine all the time, and their catalog. So, but we're going to bring on this wonderful freelance journalist. She's been a journalist for 25 years, and she's also have some articles in Essence and Upscale Living and all kinds of just go up there and read her bio. This woman is awesome. Okay, let's bring her on, the one and the only Leslie E. Royal. Come on up in here. Come on up in here.
Well, hello, beautiful Lisette.
Hi.
How are
Hello.
you?
Aren't you beautiful? I love that outfit. That coat is banging, girl. Woo!
Thank you so much. Of course, it's Astro, always Astro all the time. And I absolutely love your beautiful blouse. It is
Thank
perfect.
you. Thank you. You know what? I'm just amazed by all that you do. And I really appreciate you coming on the show today. But you are a journalist. What made you want to become a journalist? What was it that motivated you to do this?
Oh, yes, that is a story that I love to tell. Again, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. A
Mhm.
pleasure meeting you, Kiani. As you shared, beautiful Lisette, we actually met in my husband's restaurant, Robert's Soul Food Restaurant, and we thank you for the great shout out. And we just connected, and I love that. And I'm glad that our friendship has continued. But I have actually been a writer most of my life. I was on the newspaper staff in middle school as a feature editor, high
Wow.
school as a feature editor, the yearbook staff at Georgia State University, and received my degree in journalism. And I tell you, I received the degree. By that time, I had a little one when I went back to school, and Tasha was about 2 years old when I went back to school. And I went back to school, graduated, had a second child, Jay, and was still working at the FBI. And it was a cool job, really exciting. All the stuff y'all see on the news. I was one of those people that opened the cases. So you see it on the news 2 or 3 years later, after I had opened the case for agents to work. And I had a pretty cool job. It was fun. It was interesting, good benefits. And Tasha was maybe about 8 years old at that time. And she goes, Mommy, we were talking. I can remember it as if it were yesterday. And she goes, Mommy, what am I going to be when I grow up? And I said, Well, I said what you and every other parent says out there. I said, You can be whatever you want to be. And but then at that time, I felt convicted, and at the same time had an epiphany. And because I thought, although you have a good job, you are not doing what you want to do. You want to be a journalist. And not only do you want to be a journalist, you have a degree in journalism. And so immediately I reached out to local publications and I asked, "Oh, okay, I'd love to write for you." And they go, "Well, do you have any writing samples?" I said, "Well, I have some from college." They go, "No, we need professional writing samples." And I said, "Well,
Hmm.
how do I get writing samples if I don't get a job?" And I guess they thought, okay, well, you figure out that by yourself. But bless his
Wow.
heart, um, um, Mr. David Smith of the Atlanta Bulletin newspaper gave me employment, and I started writing for him and was writing ever since.
That's interesting. It's really interesting how people can say, well, we want you to have experience, but they don't want to give you the experience that you need to get the experience, but someone gave you a chance. That's awesome to me, to know that there's somebody out there is like a bridge to your success, to the other side of where you're trying to go. Will link you over there. It may not be everybody, but there's somebody. So I think that is absolutely awesome. And then it also amazes me how that even you had children, but yet you was able to pursue your passion. Even with the child in your arms, you was able to pursue your passion. I think that's absolutely awesome. And by the way, everyone, we're talking about It's Still I Rise. We're talking about this successful businesswoman here today. All right. So you know
So
what?
you
Go ahead.
have a question I want to ask you. Being a journalist, and I love that you're a freelance journalist, because journalism has it hard these days, and a lot of people don't understand the difference between a journalist and a news anchor. Journalists work really hard to get the right story, to get the right information, to get the facts. Sometimes you spend years on a story, right? That might not even be a page long, and a journalist will hand that to an organization and then they'll present it however they want. So a
Wow.
lot of journalists are just freelance these days. They're like, I'm not going to keep giving my hard working information to some network for them to put it out the way they want to instead of the way it was intended. So
Absolutely.
love journalists because they're the ones that are still doing the hard work, getting the right information. And every story isn't about doom and gloom. So I commend you for that. What was your? It's a two-part question. Number one, um, how did you feel when you were able to produce your first story, and what was the most difficult or interesting story you ever had to write about?
Oh my goodness, great multi-part question. I tell you, with Mr. Smith, the wonderful thing was he said that I could write for him. But he shared with me that he does not pay his journalists. And so once I started writing for him, I said that'll be fine, Mr. Smith, because no one else is willing to give me a chance. He goes, well, you can write for me, get experience, and then you can go to the next publication. And that was so very profound. But not only did I get the experience in Atlanta, he was so well known that I was able to go to all of these events, meet all of these people, write all of these articles on such wonderful subjects, celebrities, politicians, community leaders. And the reader, when they're reading my article, they don't know that I wrote it for free. And so I was willing to do that in order to get my experience and build my portfolio. Then along came a good friend who's a friend to this day, Jennifer Parker, who started a publication called Crossroads News. And she paid her journalists a whopping $50 per article. So she said, it's not a lot, but we're a small publication. This is what we pay our journalists. So then I began writing for her. I wrote my first article. She paid $50 to me. I went to the bank, cashed the check, asked the teller to give me at least five ones so that I could frame that dollar bill. And I
Wow.
didn't get a chance to frame the dollar bill. I put it in my wallet. I have changed the wallet several times, but that dollar bill is behind my driver's license to this day as a
Wow.
reminder of what is possible. And so I share with people that would like to be a journalist that once you start your writing, be willing to write for free if necessary, be willing to write for a small amount of money if necessary. And once you start writing for the smaller publications, simultaneously reach out to the national and international publications. And that's what I did. So as a result, after having so many local publications that I write for, in addition to that, I have articles that have appeared, as you shared, Upscale Magazine, Black Enterprise Magazine, Essence Magazine, Fortune Magazine, the Wall Street Journal. Just be willing to work hard at your craft. Be willing to meet the deadlines when things are due, and let your journalist, your editor, or your boss know, hey, I'm a team player, I'm friendly, and I promise you, when you give me an assignment, I will do it and you will have it on time.
I have a question to ask you. By any chance, when you
No.
was in school, did you have problems in English?
Well, no, and I think people say that left right brain thing, and I think it's true, but not in English. I would when I was in high school, I worked literally 40 hours a week in the 11th and 12th grade. And so I would be so sleepy the next morning. I literally slept through an English class in the morning and made an A in the class.
Wow.
And so that is English. But if you're talking about math, if you're talking about science, and
Hmm.
you're talking about history, I sort of graduated, thank you, Lordy, with those things.
Wow. I see here that someone said, I
Well,
think,
hold on, because that's for YouTube is different. The way you always have to do these, Lisette, is thank you, Dwayne, for the $5 donation. I think journalists have great souls and are here for a great purpose. Oh, that's a sweet thing to say.
mhm,
Thank you,
mhm.
Dwayne.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you, Dwayne. Can I say something to that?
Yes.
Thank you, Dwayne, because I absolutely feel that way. I feel that God has given each of us a gift for His glory. He has given me the gift of writing, and so how dare I write anything negative about anyone? How dare I promote anything that's untrue? So
Hmm.
whenever you see me write about something, or
Mhm.
whenever you see any of my video series, it's only going to be about lifting people up, inspiring, encouraging people, and empowering them to be their very best.
This is good because this is what the show is about today. This is what Rise with Lisette is all about, inspiring, encouraging, and lifting people up. And something that you said about, she said at first you had to work without getting paid. And I can definitely experience that even in my music, my professional career as a singer. Sometimes I
Oh, I
work.
thought she was talking about me. I was going to say, Lisette, don't put me on blast like that.
You, you should stop it. Kiana,
Shh.
you should stop. But no, no, no. But you know what? Clarence says,
Clarence said it's good to have an idea of what you want to do at a young age. Which Clarence, I always have to caveat when Clarence says something because Clarence always says great things. Clarence is right. The thing that I like that a lot of parents do now is you want people to think about what they want to do with their young, but you don't want to pigeonhole them into one area. Be like, this is what you got to do. This is your trajectory. Because when you're young, your brain is everywhere, and you got to allow them to have multiple avenues and things that they want to do. And when they're set on something they want to do, even if you don't believe in it, like they want to be a musician or they want to be a comedian or, these non traditional jobs, use that to your advantage to help them flourish. Because at the end of the day, once they get older, they're going to pick the path they want to go in anyway.
that's true.
That's
That is
true.
absolutely true. But I'm wondering that in your journey as being a journalist, have you ever did a story where you could have gotten in trouble, or that they might have threatened you for trying to write the story, or you ever did anything like that in your journey?
Well, that's a great question. I'd like to answer that, and may I also answer? Was it Clarence? May I say something to that as
Yes,
well?
of course,
Now,
always.
with starting at a young age, often people know at a young age they know what they want to do, they know what they want to be, and somewhere along the lines, life starts lifing,
Yes, I love that.
and you find yourself moving into another direction. But that's okay. What I encourage everyone to do, just um, just sit in your morning prayer or evening prayer and meditate and ask God, what would you have me to do? This is what I've been wanting to do all my life. How do I get back to what I love? How do I get back to my passion? And I
Wow.
think the Lord will show you the way. And then what I would encourage you to do, which is something that I did. Remember, I was still working for the FBI. I worked for the
Wow.
FBI for 10 years. 2 of those years, I was writing for the Atlanta Bulletin newspaper and not getting paid, but still working full time, 40 hours a week with 2 children. But if you're pursuing your passion, you're willing to work your day job and get paid and pay your bills, and you're willing to follow your passion and do what it is that you want to do. So I encourage you all to stop, drop. You can be 50, 60, 70, and start doing what it is you want to do in addition to paying your bills. And Miss Lisette, in answer to your question, um, I haven't had anyone to threaten me with my articles because they're mostly benign, business pieces, personal finance pieces, travel, which I love, and then lifestyle pieces. But what I have had to happen to me in the past is that a few of the publications that I have written for, once I have written the article and turned it into my editor, and I think that goes back to what Kiani was saying. Once I wrote the articles and turned it into my editor, by the time I saw it, it didn't look like anything I wrote. And not only that, it was sort of sensationalized, right? And I had a conversation with those editors and shared with them, if you have to do some small edits to my article, that's okay. But if you want to revamp the article, please come back to me and let me write it in the way that you would like to see it. And if we don't agree on what the slant should be, I'm totally okay with you not running my article. But please, my name, Leslie E. Royal, is on this article, and people see me, they don't see you.
That's good. That is absolutely good. Yes, it is. Yes, it
Yes, I
is.
was just about to say,
Mm,
it's very terrible when you read something that you didn't write and then your name is on it. It's like, wait a minute, because
Yeah,
people gonna come back and say, well, why did you say this? Well, no, I didn't
yeah,
actually say that.
yeah.
Gloria Martin says, that's so great you were willing to write for free, especially to earn experience. That's a hard thing to do these days when people hear free. They want no part of it. So I totally feel you on that one.
it's this is just amazing. But and just to think that you are a woman. I mean, and on top of that, you're a black woman, which means that I know that you have experienced some type of bad vibes for just being a woman, having to stand next to men, that are freelance journalists as well. What can you tell us some stories about that?
What do you mean difficulty as a black woman? You act like she was raised in the South or something. Oh yeah, never mind. Um,
I love it. I love it. Well, yes, I have experienced some bad vibes, and not only the writing career, but other aspects of my life as well. Not only men, but some women. As an African American woman, it can be rather difficult. But my mother, my beloved mother, Lizzie Mae Dukes Guess, taught me early on that no one is better than you are. No one is above you. You're not above anyone, but they are not above you. You keep your head up, you walk with confidence, and you look people right in their eyes and say what it is that you have to say. And so, as a young woman in my early 20s, oh, I was a firecracker. I got you straight and done. You could look at me wrong and I would get you straight, but I've evolved. And as a seasoned woman now, if there is something that someone says or does to offend me, I will take that person aside and I will have a conversation with that person. I'll share with them. Now, this is what you said. This is what I perceived. Now, was my perception incorrect? And then you'll get those people who say, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way." No, that's not my question. My question is my perception of what you said incorrect? And this is my next question. If I were a black male, if I were a white male, if I were a white woman,
Come
if I
on.
were a celebrity, would you speak to me in that same way that you're speaking? And then they sort of stop and think about it. They don't say no, but they sort of stop and think about it. And then they share, "I apologize." So I encourage people, you're going to go through that, you're going to experience that with supervisors, with people out in the world. Just go and speak with that person kindly and gingerly and let them know that I am going to respect you. I feel like people treat you the way that you allow them to treat you. And what you have to understand is, unfortunately, I'm not going to allow you to treat me that way. And I just want us to understand that.
That is
It
absolutely awesome.
always works.
That's awesome. Absolutely,
Mhm.
I absolutely agree that people will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. This is really amazing because sometimes I have noticed that some men, not all men, but some men don't like to have a woman in authority over them. They get intimidated, and they don't appreciate that. And they have a tendency to look down on women as if we can't get the job done, that we can't accomplish.
Oh my God. Thank you, Dwayne. Dwayne has gifted a membership for Keone Productions to Elaine Sheridan. So congratulations, Elaine. To Daisy R. And when people donate memberships, it's random. So please, no one think that if you've never seen how YouTube works, that they purposely didn't give you one. Also, congratulations, Jasmine Carricker and Country Joe, and a membership got gifted to Katie. That's great. So you are now members of Keone Productions, so you get perks that we have coming out next month. So thank you, Dwayne, for gifting those memberships.
That is absolutely awesome. Thank you so very much, Dwayne. You know what? This is a good conversation because, as I was saying, sometimes some men, and thank God it's not all men, but some men look down on women that's trying to accomplish some things, and if they feel like they're getting above them, even in marriages, even in church, because I remember I've have a brother, he don't seem to think that women should be preaching. Can you imagine that? And
Mhm.
they can teach maybe, but they can't be preaching. I said, you know what? I am so glad that it wasn't you that called me, Shook. It was the man of God that called me, not you.
But
You
it,
don't have the last say so on this.
There's two things to that. One, we already know why. Why is that? The number one reason is insecurity. So, as what Leslie was saying, man, woman, fish, or dog, the number one reason that people do that is their own insecurities. Because when you're insecure in what you're doing, who you are, you don't care what somebody else is doing.
Mhm.
And two, with all of us being Christian, and I've said this before, I don't believe in other religions, but the one it's also been inbred into us. Christianity is the one religion that took away all the women deities. There's no women deities, or the only woman of importance that people can talk about is who? Mary. You know, and that's it. So we miss out on it. And my best example was, do you remember the movie Hidden Figures, Leslie?
Love that movie.
Yeah, I remember when that movie came out and I came to work and everybody at work was talking about it. And I'm just sitting there observing. And all the men were like, oh my God, the movie was amazing. It's blah, blah, blah. They're pointing out and all the women were just looking at them like, and one of the guys said, well, you guys didn't like the movies because women don't like women. I said, no, they don't care about the movie because they know women can do math. Women can do great things. Why is it an epiphany that women can do things that are amazing? That's why they're not over the moon about the movie. It's like, yes, I can have a child and own a business and get a degree. Why is that amazing? Because I'm a woman.
That's
Well,
absolutely right.
Yes, and I tell you, I am blessed with the husband. My husband, Tony, is just so supportive of everything that I do. He just cheers me on from the sideline, and likewise, I'm supportive of all that he does. I'm blessed to be a part of a church. I attend Berean Christian Church here in Stone Mountain, and thank God for a pastor who believes that women also are called to preach. But there are some churches, there are some universities. In fact, I went to Luther Rice University to get both my master's degree in Christian studies and my master of divinity. And Luther Rice is clear about their mission and their motto. And a beautiful Pastor Colette Gombe. I don't know if you all have ever heard of her, of Green Pastures Christian Ministries. She and I had breakfast, and I told her I was going back to school, and I read the syllabus and I read the course catalog, and I was a bit concerned. And she said, "Look, you go and get what you need to get. Don't worry about what's written in the course syllabus. Don't worry about what's written in the catalog. You go get the degrees to get that you need to get to do what it is that you need to do." And so I encourage women to do that. Women, we're resourceful, we're brilliant. We can always do what it is that God called us to do.
Yes.
And if you're in a church that does not believe that God called you to preach, then maybe you ought to go to God in prayer and ask God where He should place you. And if you are in another place that feels like you as a woman shouldn't be in this position or this place, you should go to God in prayer. Now, if it's a job that's paying you, I would encourage you not to leave until you get another job that's paying you. And just know that do not allow, as Kiani shared, that it is simply because they really want to keep women down. They are insecure, and do not allow anyone else's insecurities to affect you as a woman. I don't care who it is, and I'm not a marriage counselor, so I wouldn't seek to advise women on their marriages. But I would have a conversation with anyone who seeks to diminish my value and share with them. Now, if I'm going to work with you, I'm going to be with you. I'm asking that you respect me as a woman and as a person, and yes, as an equal.
That is good. That's good right there. I said, that
Yes.
is good right there. Respect me as an equal. This
Yeah.
is good because I saw what Clarence says sometimes children are raised to think that, to think that for some reason that, you have to look down on women. They can't do, they shouldn't be over you and this, that. You know what? I look at it like, when God made, he made us, he has certain um, gifts and skills that he has placed inside of us, and he wants us to use them. You know what I'm saying? So we should not try to hinder women and box us in when you can't do this. And I know you may say, well, we don't want to put that kind of burden on you. I understand that. I understand about the burden, this, that, and other. But if I can bear it, let me bear it. All right.
Yeah.
Now come on up in here. Come on. If I can
Amen.
bear it,
Preach, Sister Lisette.
let me bear it.
It's well, I don't think Lisette's being a little facetious on the problem. It wasn't that she's a female preacher. It's that Lisette's church, she's probably the preacher, and then she puts that mic down and jumps in front of the choir and starts singing, and then she turns around and she's the minister of music. She
How'd
probably
you
wears
know?
all the
How'd
hats.
you
Can you imagine being in the church and Lisette is like, she's the preacher, she's the bishop, she's the minister of music, and she's leader of the choir. That's probably
I've
what she
done those
did.
things. I really have. I've wore different hats. But at the time,
Mhm,
my apostle allowed me to,
mhm,
to do that. He didn't.
mhm.
He knew that women could preach. He knew that women could uh, uh, um, have a church, be a pastor. He had no problem with that. So I just think this is awesome because
He fed you.
I think it's a strong man, just like you were saying, Leslie. It's a strong man to be able to So what, kind of like be under a woman, but
Uh-huh.
yet not be intimidated by her at all because he know
Well,
his value, he know his strength.
Well, see, that's the thing. You got to stop looking at it as under. It's like when Denzel Washington was asked, "You've had a successful marriage for what 3 decades?" He goes, um, "Is it learning how to be 50-50?" And Denzel looked at him. He's like, "What are you talking about? It's never 50-50. Sometimes it's 70 me, 30 her. Sometimes it's 60 her, 40 me. You're never under. One part of your marriage doesn't make you under just because it's the occupation. There's a whole lot of other things to consider in your marriage that brings you towards that equality. And if you're holding one part of your marriage, oh, because I'm taller than her, does that make me better? Like, well, you got to feed into it. And speaking of feeding into, let's talk about this food in this restaurant. What's the name of that restaurant? Where is it located?
Roberts is
Um,
Oh
Robert.
yes.
Yes,
it,
Oh
Lord.
yes.
Robert's
It's
Family Buffet, is that it?
I love it. It is called Robert's Soul Food
Soul food.
Restaurant. Yes, we are located in Lithonia, Georgia, which is Metro Atlanta. Jump on I-20 East, heading like you're going to Conyers, and get off at Evans Mill Road. Oh my goodness, you will love our soul food. Miss Lisette has told you about the fried pork chops, the fried chicken, neck bones,
mm,
oxtails, collard greens, turnips, peach cobbler. Oh my goodness. And of course, our fish. You
Yes.
our whiting, our catfish, tilapia. Oh, yes.
now that fish doesn't. It's boneless, right?
It is well, what's wonderful is we found the tilapia and the whiting are boneless.
Mhm.
But we have found that a lot of our customers prefer the whole catfish.
Yeah.
So we have the whole catfish and the fillet catfish.
Hey, and vegans, you're welcome if you want to repent. You're welcome to come on
Oh, yeah.
down there. What's your favorite dish in that restaurant yourself?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I do have three. The fried pork chops, which is our number one seller. The fried chicken, oh my goodness, down home delicious. And the oxtails. And we're open 5 days a week, Tuesdays through Saturdays. The pork chops, the fish, and other things are sold every day, but the oxtails are sold on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
I love that you have because the soul food places where I live, the oxtails are terrible. The only place that has great oxtails here are Jamaican restaurants, which you
Wow.
know. So I'm glad that you have really really good oxtails.
Oh, yes, delicious. You all will love it.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, when I next time I'm in Lithonia, I'm gonna slide. I always do. I asked my daughter. I said, where's y'all got any soul food type places? I don't know no soul food. I was looking. I found your restaurant, and I'm sold. I will be
This
back
is
again and
it.
again. I'm telling you.
That is us.
Speaking
Yes.
of things that you own and do, I really want to know how did I want to get that sense of accomplishment and feeling of when you had that first book published.
Oh my goodness. It was simply amazing, Kiani. And this is what happened over the years as a writer. I've been writing for more than 25 years. And I would often have people to tell me, Leslie, you write. Maybe you can help me. I would love to write my first book. And I would share with everyone. I write articles for magazines and newspapers. So I don't know a whole lot about the publishing business. But when I do find out, I'll let you know. And so I wrote my first book called Leslie's Lane the Book. And it was just a natural evolution of my writings in my in what is it called that I had? The Leslie's Lane blog. Yes, a
Uh-oh.
natural evolution of the Leslie's Lane blog. And so I would write about jobs, I would write about free stuff, discounts, restaurants, everything that you can imagine. And it was in 10 chapters, and all of that was placed in Leslie's Lane, the book. And a year later, for those people who said, Leslie, I want to write my first book, I wrote a book called How to Write and Self Publish Your Book for Free with Amazon's KDP. And I actually give workshops. I go around, even outside of Atlanta, to colleges, universities, churches, restaurants, businesses, special events, and give a workshop on how to write your first book and do so for free.
Now that's awesome because I've met a woman the other day, and she was saying how she was in the process of writing her book. So perhaps maybe I can hook her up to you, so you can, help her out there. That's awesome. You know,
Absolutely. Please do. I would love to work with her.
I just I'm amazed by, I see journalists on, like on the news and stuff like that. Have you ever did that kind of work, like news? I think you said you did.
Well, actually, it's funny you would say that because my original um, major was broadcast journalism. I wanted to be a newscaster. And I started down in Savannah at Savannah State College. That's my HBCU. Woo. And once I got married, moved to Atlanta, transferred to Georgia State University, they shared that I would lose credits if I stayed in that field. I could use all of my credits if I stayed in print, if I went on to print journalist. And I'm like, okay, I've got a baby, I've got a full time job. I am not trying to lose any credits, and so I switched to print journalism, and have been writing ever since. And when Ashro approached me and asked me if I would host a special video series called Onward and Upward with Leslie E. Royal. That gave me an opportunity to be a multimedia journalist. And so now what I've started doing is when I interviews, particularly celebrities, for my articles for Upscale Magazine, now I'm doing them on Zoom interviews and getting permission from the publicists, the subjects, and the producers to use clips or the whole video on our social media pages. So that gives me an opportunity to get on live with people, laugh, talk, chit chat, and still get information out to the public.
This is good. Share with us some of the celebrities that you've actually interviewed.
Before she
Oh,
does that, Clarence says you both look great this morning. Clarence, I know I'm not on camera, but you know what I look like. You could have said all three of us, Clarence, but you could have said all three of us. That's fine.
thank you, Clarence. You are so very kind. I tell you what, I have loved interviewing celebrities, and I've got a picture when I first started 25 years ago. I was like celebrity struck, right? And so I took pictures with every celebrity I met, and so
Cool.
I hadn't done that in years. And so, okay, so I'm looking on the wall up here. So I see Chris Rock, I see Danny Glover, I see Brian McKnight. I see David Banner. I see Keith Sweat. I see Louis Gossett Jr. I see Kirk Franklin, Reba McIntyre, Tamia, and a few Faith Hill, a few other celebrities from back in the day. But more recently, my interviews have been. I just completed one with Al Roker. He's got a cookbook that's coming out. I shared that with Miss Lisette. And I'm sorry I turned my head away from the camera, but I wanted y'all to hear all those wonderful celebrities that I interviewed. Now that was 25 years ago. I've got the hair to prove it. But now I've interviewed Money Long for a cover story for Upscale Magazine, Naturi Naughton from Power Frame fame for Upscale Magazine, and I've got articles that are coming out now on Fight Night. And oh, when I tell y'all, Fight Night, the $1 million heist, based on a true story right here in Atlanta. Yes,
Wow.
and I wrote an article featuring all of the celebrities, and when I tell you everybody's in that, and it's just a real joy to interview them. For one thing, they are just like you and me. They're very kind, they're very friendly, they're very respectful of me, very respectful of my time, and it's just fun interviewing him. And with Money Long, a beautiful song that came out on the BET Awards, and I was interviewing her. I was down in Savannah on celebrating my anniversary with my husband. And at the end of our interview, she goes, "Wow!" And I think I might get permission from them to do some posts on that. She goes, "Wow, you are so encouraging. I wish I could call and talk to you on the phone every day."
That's awesome. That's a great compliment. That's
Yes.
a great compliment. And you are so lovely. You're a friendly lady, and
Well, thank
I
you.
remember, when we actually said when we first met, he's very welcoming. And I said, hey,
Thank you.
there's a bond there.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate you, sharing your life and sharing your journey. And also to all these beautiful women out there and even men that are listening, um, to someone that really wants to not just get in journalism, but want to pursue their passion, their dream. And some of them are women, and they may feel like they're not, they can't get it done, that just can't happen for them. It's not going to happen for them. But what would you tell them? Share your heart.
Well, I love that question. I would encourage people first, never meet a stranger, and always be kind to every person you meet, just because you should be kind to every person you meet. But not only that, you don't know who you're talking to. And when you came into our restaurant, I greeted you. You were so friendly, and we talked. And I said, "Welcome." And we started chatting. You said you're from out of town, and I was so glad to have you. And we struck up a friendship and a bond. And today I am on this wonderful show.
Thank
That would not have happened if you came into the restaurant and greeted me and I just blew you off, hey,
you.
and just kept walking. And so I encourage everyone. Um, e- e- Everyone knows someone. We all know someone. So then, if I'm not a prominent person, oh, for sure, I know some prominent people, or I know someone who knows some prominent people, right? And so it's important just to be kind to everyone you meet. Understand that whatever business or field that you are in addition to being kind to that person, understand that that person can be a potential customer to
Mhm,
you. And
mhm,
in my case, a potential follower on social media or a reader of the articles and things of that nature that I write. And I found that when you are kind to people and you make certain that everyone you meet, get to know that person, keep in contact with that person, and just give them a call if there's something that you're doing. And for me, if there's something that I'm working on, I don't care what it is. If I don't know anything about it, I know someone who does. And I will pick up the phone and call and say, "Hey, this is Leslie. How are you? How's your family doing? I'm working on this project and I would like to interview a celebrity. I would like to interview this person. How do I reach the publicist of Kevin Hart? How
mhm,
do I reach the publicist of Samuel Jackson?" And someone will give me the information, and I'm always there anyone who, if they're working on a story or someone wants to get something done. So many people give me a call and say, "Leslie, I am trying to get this person. I've got to connect with this person. I'm working on this project. Can you find out who I can reach out to?" I'll tell the people, "Give me 24 hours." And 24 hours, I don't care who calls me, and what they're looking for, I'm able to help get them connected to who they need to get connected to. Not saying the person will say yes once they get connected, but I'm always able to get them connected. So you should be that resource for people. You should be a in your job, in your business, you should be a secret weapon, and people should never see you coming. You should have all kinds of secret tools in your toolbox, and they should know that they can count on you. So I don't want to be that person who pretends to be something that I'm not, pretends to be well connected, and someone calls me and I cannot deliver on something that they asked me to do. So anyone that gives me a call, Whatever it is, give me 24 hours. I'm going to connect you. Again, not saying that person's going to say yes, but you're going to get your answer in 24 hours.
That's awesome. That
Yeah.
is awesome. There we go. I mean, this is very good. I mean, this is so good having you this morning to encourage us and to lift us. These women out there, I've been encouraged. I've been lifted, you
Yeah.
know, to know that kindness goes a long ways. To be kind to people. There's some people are just hateful. What? That reminds me of the other day when I went to this restaurant. Oh my God, Jesus. Oh my, I ain't
Oh,
gonna,
nope, nope, nope. We're not gonna do
I
it.
ain't
You
gonna
said,
go there.
wait,
I'm not
wait.
gonna look.
You said
I
the
just
magic.
no. I
Lisette,
won't. I won't.
Lisette,
No.
Lisette. Uh-uh, You did it. You said the magic word. So here we go.
No. No. Have you ever been to a drive-through? Now, I was coming on round to the window there. I gave my order. Okay, I want some freshly cooked fries. Okay, I cooked to order. Okay, you say you want what? I want some fries cooked to order. I want some hot fries. Okay, I want them fresh. Okay, drive on around. Drove on around. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, pay my little money, drive to the next window. Okay, pick up your food. Okay, a bag. I said, now, these fries, you can go, in other words, get away, you filthy animal. Keep the check, get gone. Why you still standing at the, because I got to check my order, all right? Don't you check urine? I got to check my order. So here I go, taking the fry out of the bag. Going to eat the fry and everything. These are cold. 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 Like, what do we got to do with that? I mean, I asked for some hot fries, fresh to cook, fresh fries, whatever. Like, okay, give them back. I mean, she just had the look. She had the nasty. That was an attitude gone to. I mean, an attitude from. I ain't gonna say where, but she had a nasty attitude. I'm telling you, she was so nasty. I mean, I'm saying like, and don't. I mean, and then you got other people that are like, what she want? What she drive on? She holding up the line. Yes, I'm gonna hold up the line. I'm gonna hold the line up because the fries are cold, and I asked for them hot. You didn't say I couldn't give them to you hot. So you said drive on around. And meanwhile, back at the fort, I love y'all. Oh, give me a hug. Give me a hug. Oh, group hug, group hug. Look, my producer saying like, you crazy. He's going like, I guess I'm gonna get it when the show's over. Whatever. No, really, but I mean, it just really move on. I'm gonna tell y'all to move on, move on, move on, move on.
I you you're you're just I love it. Leslie, here's the great thing about doing stuff on YouTube and like we're not NBC or Fox. I love when it's a train wreck.
It is definitely true.
I love when it's a disaster. Plus, everybody that watches us normally love when she gets to the point where where her hair goes crazy. But that was a very mild story.
No.
Lisette's got some great dining stories. She tells them, I'm trying to get her to translate them on here. She tells them great off live. And then when she gets on here, she gets scared. She
Yeah,
doesn't want to
I
get.
do, Donna. You got to catch me when I'm all crazy. When I
You know
ain't
what?
quite.
I'm going to have to start tricking her. I'm going to have to start telling her we're not recording and I'm going to have to record it.
Leslie, I thank you
I,
so very much. You are so beautiful in your astro outfit. How would someone go about ordering from the catalog and getting the,
Oh yes. Thank you so much for having me today. I've had a ball with both you and Kiani. And they would go to ashrow.com to order all of the wonderful outfits that we have. And I encourage the ladies to join our Facebook group called Ashrow Faith and Fashion Group. You'll be able to see all kinds of wonderful outfits, and you'll see daily posts from the beautiful Queen Lisette.
thank you.
All
Thank
of those places that Leslie just mentioned are in the description on the YouTube video. You can see her Facebook. You can see ashbro.com blog/onward to see her articles. And then you can also has the link to www.ashrow.com. Those of you who are watching today because you're new, or maybe you came here to see Leslie and you don't care about looking at Keone, which is why I'm not on camera. That's great. But if you subscribe, we would love that if you press that like button. If you go to Keone Productions and you go to the playlist, you can see all the different shows that we do. We have things for astrology and tarot. We have a Crime Chronicles with Mark Jones, which is our number 1 show. If you like crime documentaries, Rise with Lisette is our number 2 show. So thank you all of the Rise with Lisette people out there. Lisette, you can't get the stinky face. We have 14 shows and you're number 2. What is that?
Well, I never. I'm aiming to be number one.
The thing with that, Leslie, is Lisette used to be the host of a talk show that we're bringing back called My Perspective. And My Perspective, she did the Monday version. We had a Friday version and a Monday. And My Perspective has teenagers, 20, 30, 40, 50, 67-year-olds, and they would talk about different topics. So you can imagine the conversation differences, right? And Lisette was the host of My Perspective Monday, and Mark was her co-host. Now they both have their own show, and he's number 1 and she's number 2, and she won't stop letting him have it.
But no, that's okay. Mark is a great host, and I love his Crime Chronicles as well. And y'all have a great list of shows that you offer. And I just want to let you know that I've just enjoyed you today, Leslie. Thank you for a brief moment of your time to come in and share your beautiful story. And
Oh, we spoke him up.
say what?
Mark, Mark said, "Here I am."
Hey, Mark. Thanks, Mark. You're awesome, Mark.
He said,
You are
"I love
awesome.
you too, my girl." So everybody, make sure you check out those links. Make sure if you're in the, I always say it wrong. I say Lithonia, but it's not Lithonia. It's what, Leslie?
Well, actually, you can say it two ways. I say
Oh,
Lithonia. Really, most people say Lithonia. Yes, indeed.
oh,
And so
okay.
it is just a pleasure being here. I thank you so very much for the invitation, beautiful Lizette. Mr. Keone, a pleasure meeting you both. And I have had a ball. And I am enjoying those wild dining tales. So they're perfect. Keep those coming.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I just want you women to know out there that you are beautiful and wonderfully made. You're marvelously and wonderfully made. All right, you're beautiful, and that don't let anybody make you intimidated about what God has given you. God has given that to you, so you express that and you share that, and you let God handle the clown in the clown suit back there. You go ahead on and do what God has told you to do. He used the ass. Uh, um, he used retarded people, crazy people, whatever. He used me. I mean, he's using me, and they say I ain't quite got him all there, but he can use me too. And I thank God for Leslie. So thank you so very much, Keone. Thank you, God, for all you wonderful viewers out there. Thank you for your comments. So, hey,
I get it from my mama.
oh,